David going to do it? Oh, that's better.
There we go. Okay. Thank you. So welcome. Welcome to Unity of, Unity of Pomona Valley is what we're calling ourselves now that we've moved from Pomona to Claremont. And it is June 29th. I have just returned from a 17-day road trip, and it was wonderful to be away and see the beauty of the Midwest and the Southwest and the mountains, Colorado and Utah. And maybe I'll have some pictures one of these days of some of the things on our trip. The trip was around our Unity Convention, which was in Kansas City, the 16th through the 19th. And I learned a lot. I saw a lot of old friends, and just like the whole world, Unity is in transition too. Everybody, we have to raise our consciousness, right? Because we have to be channels for Spirit to create the world in new ways. And so that is what we're here for. And I thank you for being here. What is going on here, David? I'm pressing this and I'm getting... Okay. So, we're glad that you are generous. We now have a new Zelle. We've had it a couple of months, but it's getting on our website. It's getting in our bulletins. And so if people like to donate that way, we live basically off the donations that people give. And we appreciate every little thing that comes to our church. So the song for the month is Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed. And Reverend Drac is so good with our Unity music, and I find that he loves it. So Drac, will you lead us in Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed?
Sure. I have come to really love this song as I say every Sunday. It was completely new to me, and now I love it.
Wisdom within that pulls and pushes and nudges and speaks or gives us a vision of what is ours to do now in this next now moment.
Awesome.
And it is awesome, and learning to listen to that is one of the challenges of life.
Very hard.
It is. Because we get so distracted by what other people think and say and do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so listening to that. So let us turn within now and listen to the still small voice that is within each and every one of us. So it is nice to allow our breath to take us into that sacred inner space. I invite you to close your eyes slightly or completely, just so the distractions of the outer realm don't disturb that inner listening and peace. And begin to notice your breath for a moment. Notice how the breath is natural. You don't have to pay attention to it for it to happen. For it is spirit, the Spirit of God, that is giving you life itself through your breath. I invite you to let my words be your words. I am a divine being. I am an expression of the One. A unique expression of God. Sometimes I may feel like I don't fit in. Sometimes I feel like there's something wrong with me. But as I learn to turn within and listen, to turn within and experience the power and the love that is within me, that is the core of my being, I begin to accept myself and my unique differences in new ways. God has created me uniquely to lift up the world, to be a part of the puzzle of the world, to give my unique piece. And so I step out in my unique way and share who I am with the world. Because the world needs me. The world needs me to be exactly who I have been created to be. Not a replica of someone else, but a sparkling, wondrous expression that is needed right here, right now in this world. God does not make junk. And so I can trust that what was woven within me from before my birth is perfect. However others may judge it or understand it. As I begin to learn more about myself and my uniqueness, I begin to see how I fit together in this puzzle of life with others who are different than I am. And I can relax and I can express the divine through me with grace and joy to build a world that works for every single being, human, animal, and plant, and Mother Earth and all aspects of her as well. And as I see this for myself, I see this for all of those in my life, for all of those on the earth. I see each person turning within, loving and accepting themselves, reaching out to connect to others to build a world that indeed works for all. And so it is. Amen. And now let us sing the Lord's Prayer. I put announcements in the middle of our service because I feel like what we are doing and what is happening in our communities around us are very important, and that we all need to be involved in a lot of that. So we have lunch together after our service every week. Different people bring different parts of it, and it's in the room at the back left room. So please join us, and thanks to all who brought food today. As I said, I've just returned from this amazing road trip where I visited family and friends and our Unity Convention in Kansas City. And I just want to thank those of you who kept our Unity message going and our music going and our services going. David, thank you. So Drac and Jackie and Liz and Jennifer and Nancy and Marianne Cordova and Audrey and so many of you. So thank you for being here and doing that. We do have a board meeting today after lunch, and that will be at 2:45. Our book study is back on Mondays from 7 to 8 on Zoom, and if anybody's interested in joining us, it's a very interesting book. We're getting slowly through it, not very fast. We do a lot of discussing. And we have meditation and prayer on Zoom on Wednesdays at 6:30. And again, if you let me know if you want a Zoom link or take a picture and just join us. Save the date. We are looking at having a SWOC, looking at our strengths, our weaknesses, the opportunities that are there for us, and the challenges that we face in a listening and speaking circle. And we're looking at July 13th. I don't know if we're going to have all the people that we want to have because of summer travels, etc. So Linda Lowry, who is also on our board and was the city manager of Pomona for many years and has done many of these, is going to lead it. And she told me yesterday, well, if we don't have enough people, maybe we should move it to September. So I say that we're going to have it. I've started inviting people, but we will see because we want to get a lot of voices in. Compassionate Pomona is another avenue that this church has, pretty much through me and through a whole lot of city leaders, to bring city leaders together to bring compassion to our city and to support each other in our compassionate actions. Anybody can come to these meetings, and we'd love to have you come. We want lots of voices. So that is going to be, we meet twice a month on Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock on Zoom, usually on Zoom, once a quarter in person. And you're welcome to join us for that. And then DRAC is offering 2 classes next month on the Enneagram on July 6th and 20th. Is that right, DRAC? Thank you for doing that. Again, a different look at who we are. You know, there's many ways to view ourselves and understand ourselves. And I'm doing one today with the Myers-Briggs work. DRAC is doing the Enneagram. And by the way, at conference, there's a Unity minister that has written an Enneagram book based on New Thought. So, and I should have gotten you a copy, but I will get you a copy. She's from Vietnam. She's an amazing person amazing. So I want to connect you with that. And we know how blessed we are as we look at the news from around the world. And so let us just take a moment to give thanks through our affirmation we're going to say together, and through our donations. Liz will pass the basket as we say our affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all I am, all I give, all I do, and all that I receive. And Liz can bring the basket up, and there is also the Zelle that now it's the first time I think I've had it on the overhead. And so the QR code, is that what you call it? I think it is.
It worked, I just did it right now.
You just did it,
Yeah.
and it worked,
Yeah.
right? And thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate that, Marco. Okay.
Now I can just tie it from here because I forgot to do it.
Yes. So we want to make giving easy and fun, right? Definitely. So that's Drac's Enneagram. So at this time I have Jackie come forward. Jackie is our longtime board president, our matriarch of over 40 years at this Unity Church.
She told me.
Isn't that amazing?
That is.
And she just
So she
keeps
got her
us
calling early.
keeps us going. So Jackie, here's your daily word.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The word for today is release. I release and move forward with a grateful heart. Although any experience can be seen as a gift bringing new insight or deeper understanding, it may be hard to appreciate it at first. When I struggle to release a painful memory, I can open my mind and heart to better receive the gift of that experience. For instance, learning why a relationship ended shows me where I can grow in understanding and empathy. Feeling the unconditional love of God, I forgive my past weaknesses and make amends where I can. When I recognize that holding on to resentment hurts only me, I can more easily release it and forgive. Blessed by the power of release and grateful for the power of God within, I move forward ready to live and love fully again. And from Genesis 32:26, then he said, "Let me go, for the day is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me."
Thank you, Jackie. I love that scripture. I will not let you go unless you bless me. And every situation in life has that, right?
Yep.
That ability to bless us if we look for the blessing. If we don't look for the blessing, we're probably going to be upset. and carry that with us and miss the whole point of it, that our soul has drawn that to us.
Like loose it and let it go.
Yes, yes. So, now we are singing Amazing Things, and is this new to you, or
It was.
it was? So hopefully it's another one that you enjoy.
It's a really sweet song, and it's by Janice Stanfield and also Megan McDonough, but I know it as being Janice Stanfield. Are you guys familiar with her?
I've heard it.
It's a really good song. It's very positive. I
Yeah.
like it. So this will be your first go around. It is somewhat repetitive, so hopefully the second go around with the second verse you'll start to really feel this. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, as the progress that you make, your reason you live is there with every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. All the places you will go, and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You need to know that now you're on your right track. No need to head a back. Just enjoy with this day brings. You don't have to work it out, just stay in there, here and now. Let your mind stay for a little while. Sometimes the deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing.
it true?
It's
It is true. And yet, most of us may not even know how amazing the things we are doing because there are ripples, right, that go out into the world, and we don't know who those ripples touch or what comes of that. But trust that your light is shining and affecting other people in amazing ways. So, today we are talking about gifts differing. Our unity lessons, and we call them lessons rather than sermons, are guides, and we share our ideas, but we don't tell you what to believe. What you believe comes from within. That's what we ask you to do, is to go within, to listen to that still small voice, however it speaks to you, and do your spiritual study, do your meditation, do your service work, and be open to learning, every day. So, people in this congregation like to start with humor, and so I have a fairly long, humorous story, but it has a point. So, a Jew, a Hindu, and Karen survive a plane crash in the woods, and they walk together through the woods and throughout the day and into the night, and they're looking for help. Finally, they come upon a little wooden house with a window that has a light in it, and there's a barn that they see next to it. And the Jewish man says, finally, someone who can help us out. Let us ask this owner if we can stay here tonight and pick up our search in the morning. So they knock on the door, and a little old man answers, and they explain their situation, and he says, I'd be glad to help you stay the night. I even have a roast in my oven that is way too big for me to eat alone, so please come in and join me. And the three explain their journey and their misfortune, and the old man, they have a nice meal together, and when it's time to go to sleep, the old man says, all right, my friends, I'm off to bed. There are only 2 other beds in the guest room, so one of you will have to sleep in the barn, which is very nice and warm and cozy. The Jewish man promptly says, don't worry, I'll sleep in the barn. You two can enjoy the comfortable beds in here. And off he goes to the barn. 5 minutes later, he's knocking on the house door. And the old man answers, and he says, I am so sorry, you guys. I would gladly sleep in the barn, but there is a pig in there. And in my religion, pigs are considered dirty creatures and not kosher. So I cannot sleep in the presence of a pig. One of you will have to go and sleep there in my stead. So the Hindu says, I'll go. It's no hassle. So 5 minutes pass, and again, there's a knocking on the door. I'm sorry, guys. There is a cow in there, says the Hindu. And in my religion, it is the most sacred of all creatures, and I am not worthy to sleep in the presence of a cow. I cannot sleep there. Ugh, fine, says Karen. If you can't bring yourselves to be gentlemen and leave a bed for a lady here, I guess I will have to go and sleep in the barn. But I swear, this will not be the end of it. You two owe me. And off she goes. 5 minutes later, it was the cow and the pig. So, we are all different, one from each other, right? If you look around, you can see the differences. If you get to know people, you can see the differences even more broadly. Deep personality differences, right? And sometimes that makes it difficult to get along with each other, all those differences. In Myers-Briggs, and we're going to be talking about Myers-Briggs today, those preferences make up our personality, or the way we understand our personality type, according to that system of understanding it. Many years ago, I worked for Children's Hospital in Omaha, Nebraska, and they took on this project that was huge. It was changing from top-down, management top-down thinking to people making decisions from the place where the decisions were used, you know? Imagine that. And you've worked in hospitals, so you know the difference. So I was trained, I volunteered to be trained to teach Myers-Briggs. And so I was blessed to have that, and I've carried that with me all these years. And it changed my life, because before that, you know, I was always the good girl, and I thought, well, I would do what my parents wanted me to do. And I thought if people weren't like me, that there was something wrong with them, which caused a lot of friction, you know. Well, I took the Myers-Briggs and I began to understand that we're all different, that there's not a better way of being or a worse way of being, that we all are created uniquely so that we can work together to really lift up the world, and that we're each a unique piece of the puzzle. And that we need each other's gifts, that there are 4 different aspects of ourselves that we look at, and there are opposites in those, that makes 16 possible personality types in this system, that we each evolve. And I think maybe in the beginning of teaching this, some people didn't understand that there was an evolution, but we evolve. And so to age 35, we often use our preferences, although our parents may have told us that was not okay, and we may have gone along with what our parents said we had to do, or our teachers, or whatever. But after 35, we begin to work and learn how to express our non-preference as well as the preferences. And so we come into our wholeness. And that's what this life is all about, because we are these amazing whole beings, and we need that balance within ourselves. So we are evolving every day. And again, there is no bad preference, there is no bad personality type. So we can leave the judgment of ourselves and others at the door. But that's hard to do. So the book of 1 Corinthians writes, it is written in Corinthians 12, "Now concerning spiritual gifts, brothers and sisters, I do not want you to be ignorant. Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of services, but the same Lord. And there are varieties of activities, but it is the same God who activates all of them in every one. To each is given the manifestation of Spirit for the common good." Have you heard that before? To each is given the manifestation of Spirit for the common good.
That makes sense.
Doesn't that make sense?
No, now it does.
Yeah, okay, you're a fast learner.
It didn't make sense way back when I was studying.
Well,
Now it does.
exactly. But and so that's why the book that they wrote, the people that came up with the Myers-Briggs, the mother-daughter team, they call it Gifts Different. And it's right out of the Bible. So it doesn't always feel like differences are for the common good. And sometimes our differences can feel like they're driving us crazy, right? This month, I just returned from my 17-day road trip with a friend who is very different than I am. And when you're in a car that long, I'm telling you, the differences were driving me crazy, and him as well. So, and I can't speak for him, I shouldn't speak for him, but it seemed like they were driving him crazy. Let's just say that. So, you know, Spirit is amazing. Spirit draws to us that which we are ready to learn.
Yes, very much so.
And so we came back from this trip and we were frustrated with each other. And Spirit invited us to share our upsets with Bill Herman, who's a sky breathing teacher, at Roberta Perlman's house on Friday night. So we are there and we are telling each of our sides of this challenge of this trip, how we viewed each other and all the bad things that each other did that drove us crazy. So Bill, in his wisdom, reminded me what I knew. You know how you know it, but you don't always live it? Yeah. So he reminded me what I knew, and some of you have heard me say that I need not try to change anybody, but just allow people to be who they are without fighting it. No. And without, because he was really, I think, and he says, trying to upset me. And I was taking the bait. And I don't have to take the bait. It's that principle in sky breathing of that it's not bulletproof, it's, what is it? Where you, no matter what people do to you, you're just centered in and grounded in yourself. And whatever goes on, you just let them do their thing and be okay with how you are and be okay with how they are, for the most part. So it was such a blessing to me. And I think to him to hear that as well. And to know that Spirit brought that, just Bill happened to be in town, I happened to be invited, we happened to share that together and learned from that situation. And so, and Bill said, as I understood, I should thank him for helping me go deeper into my center. Because every challenge has a gift for you in its hands, right? You guys are so wise. I mean, it's when I see the smiles, I see the head shaking. So we're going to go just briefly into this wisdom. So in the Myers-Briggs, there are 4 different things that we're going to look at. The first is energy. And that is about if you're introverted or extroverted. Do you get energy from being with people, or do you get energy from being by yourself? Introverts get energy by being alone, and then they can go out and be with other people and have a great time, and then they come back and recharge. Or extroverts get energy from being in a group or with other people, and then they can go back and meditate and recharge in their own introverted way. So, and often introverts would rather communicate written, whereas extroverts very often like to do it by speaking, right? Okay. The next thing is how do we prefer to take in information? There are basically 2 ways in this system. One is intuitively, and the other is through our senses. My preference is intuitive, and I love just listening to all the possibilities, looking at possibilities, connecting, seeing the big picture. I'm very curious about the world. I want to know. And then there's the sensing. The people that notice things, that notice the flowers and the trees and the sky and the clouds and the how things are arranged in a room and all of that. So they're very different ways of seeing and being, and there's not, again, a better or worse, but we need them both, right? And so developing both of those is important. The third aspect is that of preference, is about how we prefer to make decisions. We all have to make decisions. For some, it's easier than for others. For me, decisions is a hard thing because I like to, some people make it by thinking. Well, this is the logical thing. You have this and this and this, and therefore the decision is just a very logical conclusion. For others, it is like, well, how is this going to affect people? And that is the feeling decision maker. So you can think about how when you make your decisions, you know, do you use both? Do you use one more than the other? Which is your preference in making decisions? Logic or feeling? And then there's the organization. The way we organize our lives and our stuff. And so do we prefer to organize using our judging faculty, the way we take in information, the way we make decisions, so that we can just quickly, those who are J's, they can very quickly make a decision and later find out, oh, my sister, she makes decisions very quickly, but sometimes she throws away things that she wished she hadn't thrown away, if you know what I mean. Me, I don't like to throw away anything because I might need it sometime. And so that's why my house is such a mess. So it's, and one is a J, the judging, and if we use our, well, something, there's a possibility that I may need this, I may do this, so we procrastinate a little bit more or along. And we can be anywhere on the scale in any of these. We can be to the far ends, we can be in the middle, we can be very close to the middle and be able to use both. So that is kind of, so does everybody have a, Jackie passed out the forms, right?
Liz did. Liz passed them out.
Liz, do you have, did you give Linda one? And can I have one as well? Because I don't have one, and I would like to have one. So this is just a real quick glance at where we may see ourselves. And this is not taking the whole, this is not, there are better ways to do this. So this is just an idea of where you might be. But when you look on the extroversion, introversion preference, and I don't know if you can read that. Is it too small? It's pretty hard to read. It is, and I apologize for that. You can see, you know, where do you get your energy, basically? From being alone or from being out with people, with others. And I invite you, if it's out with people, you put an E in that first space. If you feel like you're more naturally introverted, as through your life, through your young life in particular, then put an I. And then you look down, and how do you prefer to take in information? Now, this is not about ability. We can all do all of it. But this is what is easier, what is more natural. And do you prefer to be thinking about possibilities and the big picture, or are you more grounded in reality, of three-dimensional reality? And so if you're sensing, put S, grounded in three-dimensional reality, or if you're into ideas more, put N for intuitive. And then the decisions. So where do you, on the decision-making spectrum, do you do it more from logic and thinking? Or do you do it based on how people will feel if you make a certain decision? And for most of these, it's kind of split, 50-50, population-wise. But with this one, males tend to be a little higher on the thinking, like 65%, and women tend to be about 65% on the feeling side of it. And I don't know if that's cultural or if that's just the brainwash when the testosterone went through as their babies. So you can put whether you're a T or an F there. And then finally, the lifestyle. Do you prefer to be using your judgment faculty? Then in which case you're a J. Do you like to make decisions and get those done and over with? Or do you prefer to wait and see what's going to happen, what you're going to need? And that's the perceiving. And so you would put a P if you tend to want to wait and see and have difficulty with. The J's like things very organized, closets, cupboards, etc. Yeah, if you could see my desk, it's piled up this high. So it is not, I'm definitely not a J. So, and then you can see what your letters are. You should have 4 letters there. And that may be what you are. Anybody want to share what they came out, and did you come out the way you thought you would, or is there a surprise?
I'm an INFP. No, I'm not surprised. I took it in college.
Okay, that's a while ago. Yeah, and it stays the same.
Yeah.
It stays the same. They say we're born with a certain preference. And so
I took it back in high school.
wow.
I was an INFJ.
And is that where you see yourself now?
Pretty much for a while there, I thought maybe not, but because we'll talk Enneagram in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm a thinking personality type, but I realize all of the intuition, the feelings, and all of those things come through just my thinking, but it's all doing the same thing, just through that avenue.
Interesting. And I'm an ENFP, so very similar, but and each of them has really a different way of dealing with the world, unique ways of dealing with the world. So, and we can talk more, and I can get you more information about this if you're interested. So, let's see. Now, I want us to take us into. Yeah, there's another way of looking at energy, information, decisions, and lifestyles, and that's on your handout. And then I want us to visualize. You have your preference. Visualize yourself developing your non-preference. So if you're an introvert, how do you develop that comfort with extroversion? If you're a thinker, how do you learn to put yourself in someone else's shoes? And vice versa. Because we need our thinking, logic, right? We need all of those aspects of ourselves. If you're sensing, how do you develop the big picture concepts? If you're intuitive, how do you be present in the now moment?
Hard.
It's hard.
I'm floating around half the time.
Exactly. Exactly. And there was a time when my ex-husband was on the road with a car broken down waving to me, but I was driving and I didn't even see him because I was, off in my thoughts. So it's good to be able to do both. It's really kind of important. And then how do we use both our judging faculty and our perceiving faculties in a way that gives us a house that we can stand to live in, and yet where we're not throwing away our best stuff because we just want to clear space out, you know. So again, let us take a moment for meditation. And I invite you to turn within and to imagine that within your essence are all of these possibilities. And see yourself learning to express both introversion and extroversion. And then let that go and see yourself and how you might develop both your sensing and your big picture intuition. And then let that go and imagine developing both your thinking, logical thinking ability for decision making, as well as being able to put yourself in another person's shoes with understanding feelings as related to decisions. And finally, letting that go and seeing yourself as using your judging faculty. Being able to make decisions with ease, but also trusting your perception, your intuition, your sensing as you do that. And then I invite you to just see yourself as a whole being, perfect in every way, expressing just what the world needs you to express and be. And seeing the work you do and the being that you are, lifting the world up together with others. And so it is. Amen. Finally, our call to action is by Rosemary Fillmore Ray. She was the granddaughter of the Fillmores, who were the founders of Unity. And she wrote this fabulous book called That's Just How My Spirit Travels. She created a church and a school in Jamaica. And she writes, "We are a part of a vibrant, diverse universe that would not be complete without our individual consciousness. Each human soul is an integral part of the evolutionary process. Every thought we think, every choice we make affects the whole. Each soul is equally precious to the loving intelligence that created all life. And so it is. Thank you. And Drac, are you okay if we skip the music? Yeah, it's late. But we will have we'll have the light of God. We'll do our regular closing, but I'm sorry we started so late that. Let us say our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now, let us sing our peace song. And if you want to stand, please do. Thank you. We appreciate you so much.
Will you stay and join us for lunch?
Yes, thank you.
Good.
Good.